So start in any position, seated or lying down, that just invites you to your practice today. Whatever is best for your body, your mind, your breath work right now. I'm going to start seated, but it's up to you. The next few moments, you can, if there's anything that you just want to take care of before we get going. And several more breaths, just settling in right before we require anything of ourselves. So a very simple exercise here. Just imagine, if you would, a staircase, right? It could be a staircase leading anywhere. For some of us, that might be down to a gorgeous beach. For some of us, it might be into, a cozy den. Just a staircase down into an inviting space for you. And if the base of that staircase is the most calm, restful, peaceful, present place you could possibly imagine, and the top of the staircase is kind of the chaos of your everyday life. Imagine where you are along that path right now. And with our opening breath, our only goal is to descend one step toward that present, peaceful place. Just a step. So with your next exhale, really let all of your air go. And then pause and see if you could exhale again. Good. Breathe in as you normally would. Really focus on letting all of your air go on the exhale. And then notice if you could clear out even more. And that should invite an opening, gentle inhale. And then another completely clearing breath. Just continue with this. The inhales happen naturally as they will. Your focus is really on letting yourself clear out on the exhale, completely clear out. And notice when you do it at the very bottom of that exhale, you might feel a firming or a power or even a fire within. So for me, when I really focus on clearing out on the exhale, I almost get butterflies in my stomach from the sense of being so empty, but I also feel a very deep firming of the lowest layer of my abdominal wall and a light lifting of my pelvic floor. So if you're just joining, find any position in which you're comfortable. We're just breathing and focusing on a complete and total exhale. Good, take 2 more breaths. Then coming back to that visual of the staircase, where are you now? Have you made it down one step toward a more centered and present place? And from this new marker of beginning, let's move forward. So if you're lying on your back, take a moment, wiggle your body around. If you're seated, you can change the crossing of your legs. We'll meet seated. Yeah, and from a gentle seated position, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, interlace your hands, bring them back behind your head, and just pause there, right? So imagine you're leaning back into a pillow. Really press back with the back of your head. But notice if you arched your upper back. And if you did, just soften your ribs back and then lean back with the back of your head again, right? So you just feel nice and tall, but there's this energy leaning back through your head. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, tip your left elbow towards your left knee. Press down firmly through your right sits bone, really drawing your right elbow up to the sky. Good. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, just wings and gently draw your chin towards your left shoulder. It's not like you're tugging on your head or pulling your head. It's just a gentle drawing down. And one more breath. And inhale, expand your elbows again. Come up to neutral, reach tall. And exhale, reach your hands back behind you. You can either bring hands to hips or interlace your fingers. Reach your elbows back as you send your chest forward. And this time, do allow your chest to kind of lean back or arch back and open. My knuckles are reaching toward the ground. Yours might, they might not. Take one more breath here. And then just release, come back to neutral, and feel the difference in the two sides of your body. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, interlace your hands, bring them back behind your head, and again, lean back with the back of your head. Good. Big inhale, grow tall through the very crown of your head. And exhale, right elbow toward right hip. Left elbow up toward the sky. Send your left sits bone more and more down into the earth. Take one more breath. Push back into your hands with the back of your head. And then as you exhale, start to close your elbows just like butterfly wings and gently draw your chin towards your right shoulder. It's not a tugging or a pulling, just a gentle drawing down, just with the weight of your arms, really, nothing else. And inhale back up. Expand your elbows side to side, lean back into your hands, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, reach back behind you again. Hands can come to hips or knuckles can interlace. Point your elbows back. This time I'm just leaving hands on hips so you can see that variation. And reach the top of your chest up. One more breath here. Good. Let's release to all fours. Pause on all fours. You guys know I like to give you a wrist stretch, so we'll just pause here for a wrist stretch. Top of your right hand can come down to the mat. As you shift side to side, back and forth, your elbow can be as straight or as bent as it needs to be right now, with as much weight or as little weight as required of your body. Then change, right hand comes flat, left hand, again, opposite direction. Shift around. Keeping your toes tucked. Inhale, draw your chest forward for cow. And exhale, keep this arch in your back and send your hips back. And just notice how that naturally lengthens your spine As your hips press towards your heels, you're going to feel a stretch in the bottoms of your feet. If this is sufficient, stay here. If you'd like a little more stretch, walk your hands in and maybe all the way up onto your thighs. So wrist stretch, foot stretch, just to kind of wake up those key points on the body before we move any further into our practice. One more breath. And then reaching your hands back forward again. Shift your hips up and back and find your way to your downward facing dog. Just one breath here, right? So this is just a touch point. We're not settling into alignment yet. Inhale, lower your knees back down, drag your chest forward for cow. And as you exhale, again, just lift your knees, send your hips back. And notice how that naturally will lengthen your spine out, right? That'll naturally draw you to a more aligned place. You don't have to worry about straightening your spine. Inhale, shift forward again onto your knees, pull your chest forward. And exhale, lift your knees, send your hips back, then start to straighten your legs and allow that to lengthen your spine. One more time, inhale, shift forward, cow. Exhale, keep that arch for a moment, lift your hips, send your hips up and back, down dog. One more breath. And then exhale, walk your hands back to your feet. Dangle down over your legs, bend your knees as much as your body needs right now. And imagine a drop of water landing on your tailbone. We want that drop of water to travel the whole length of the spine and all the way out the crown of your head. So really let that energy dangle. One more breath. And then roll your way up to standing. Shrug your shoulders down your back. We're repeating some of the movements we started with here. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, interlace your hands, bring them back behind your head. Inhale, lean back into your hands, not just with your upper back, but with your whole body. And exhale, left elbow toward left side of your body, almost like it's coming toward the ground on the left side. Take one more breath in here. You're just lengthening out right side body. Exhale, start to bend your knees. Close your elbows like butterfly wings and just dangle down over your legs with your hands interlaced behind your head. And again, no tugging, no pulling, just the added weight of your hands, tractioning your spine long. One more breath. Good, release your hands down. Inhale, drag your chest forward. Feel a little bit of that cow action in your upper back. Now pause. And as you exhale, imagine your hands are behind your head and you're drawing yourself toward them. So drawing the back of your head toward those imaginary hands. Draw your rib cage up toward the sky. And release down. Next, inhale, rise to stand. You can roll slowly or rise with a strong spine, whatever works for you. Exhale, interlace your hands, bring them back behind your head again. Inhale to lean back into your hands and exhale, right elbow toward the earth on the right side of your body. Pause, you're just lengthening left side here. One more breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, close your elbows down like butterfly wings and circle your way into your fold. Deep bend in your knees. Remember that drop of water traveling all the way out the crown of your head. Take one more breath. And let it go, release your hands down. Inhale, chest forward. Lean into those imaginary hands with the back of your head, with your ribs. And as you exhale, walk forward and find your way to plank pose. You're welcome to take plank pose on your knees, it still counts, right? So whatever you choose, pause when you get there, feel your plank pose. Feel a little bit of that cow opening in your upper body, but then push the earth away with your hands and get full through your chest. Back of your head again, pressing into those imaginary hands. Take a big breath in. And exhale, lower down to your belly. Knees can come down first. Tops of your feet to the mat. Inhale, extend your chest forward for cobra. And just pause here, circle your head out side to side. I always get some good, like, kind of crinkling through my neck when I do this. That's just that fascial connection, loosening up, opening up. Come back to center and inhale, open a little bit more. And exhale, press to all fours, just to all fours. Inhale, open your chest forward like cow. Exhale, lift your knees, send your hips up and back. Let that hug your spine into a longer position and just pause. Now we are aligning in our down dog a little bit more. Look forward at your hands. For most of us, hands should turn out just lightly. So it's like if there was your peace fingers and there was a line directly straight forward from your peace fingers, that's what would be pointing forward. Take one more breath here. And that's just for most of us, right? You can play with a little bit in, a little bit out. And as you're ready, step your feet toward one another. Take your right leg to the sky. Let your right hip roll open. Bend your right knee. And you can shake out your leg, circle out your ankle. Still early in the practice, so just stretching out. Take one more breath. And exhale, step your right foot forward outside of your right hand. Lower your left knee to the mat. So you're in a nice wide left to right place and front to back. With your left knee down, peel your chest forward. You're welcome to flatten the top of your left foot. Now pause. Imagine your hands are behind your head. Draw the back of your head towards your hands. Push your rib cage back as well. Good. You're nice and long. Take one more breath. Beautiful. Now, if this is plenty, please stay here. If you would like, you may lower your left forearm to the mat. Just your left forearm, not your right. Take your right hand to your right thigh and roll your chest to the right. Good. You can take one more breath in. And exhale, reach your right arm forward and then down to the ground. Pick your left elbow up so you're back on both hands. Your right toes will point a little bit out to the right foot a little bit out to the right. So as you send your hips back and straighten your right leg is more like in half of a V shape. It's pointed out to the right. Notice how much your hips want to shift toward the left and drag them to a more neutral place. Inhale a little bit like cow in your upper body, and then exhale, send your hips back to lengthen your spine. One more breath here. Good. Keep your left knee grounded and just take your right leg to the sky behind you. So left knee's down, right leg's reaching back. Imagine those hands are behind your head. Draw the back of your head into your hands. Draw the back of your rib cage in line with the back of your head. Good. Pause just like this. Bend your right knee. We're going to activate the back of the right leg here. So without changing anything else, keep your right knee as much as possible at hip height. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, feel that firming at the base of your exhale and draw your right foot maybe an inch or two more toward the ceiling. Inhale, just come back to neutral, knee at hip height. Base of your exhale, lift your right foot maybe an inch or two higher. And last time, inhale to neutral. Exhale to lift. Good. Pause. Step your right foot forward outside of your right hand again. Right toes will be pointing out. Step your left foot forward outside of your left hand. You're in a yogi squat. Send your hips back. Lift your chest any amount. Big breath in. And exhale, press into your heels to drive your way to stand. Pause, just feel your body. That's only one side, right? So feel where you are right now, right here. Before we move on, balancing pose on this side, tree pose. So left hand to left hip. Right foot can come to the earth either just outside of your left foot or on your left leg, low or high. That part's up to you. Find your tree pose. If it's possible for you today, interlace your hands and bring them back behind your head in tree. Send the back of your head into your hands. Send your rib cage back with the back of your head. And just feel how that lengthens your spine. So like it's tractioning your spine up. And take one more breath. Good. Release. Set your right foot down. Release your hands behind your back, either hands to hips or interlace your fingers. Big inhale for length and exhale, bend your knees, fold in. Shake out anything you need. One more breath. And exhale, release your hands. Inhale, extend your chest forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step your way back. Lower your knees. Big inhale into cow pose. And exhale back, nice aligned down dog. Lift your hips up and back, lengthen your spine. Good, inhale, left leg rises. You can roll your left hip open, circle out, bend, stretch, whatever it is. Take one more breath. And exhale, step your left foot forward outside of your left hand, lower your right knee. All you're doing is drawing the back of your head back. Let your rib cage come with it to extend your spine. You're welcome to flatten the top of your right foot if that's what's best for you right now. And stay upright if that's where you need or want to be. Otherwise, you can lower your left elbow to the mat or to a block or whatever you have. Your right elbow to the mat, and your left hand can come to your left leg as you open toward the side, just lightly. Stay here or left arm to sky. Big inhale, and exhale, release forward, and then down to the ground. Plant your hands as you send your hips back. Know that your left leg now is in that half V position. Notice how your hips just want to collapse over to the right. Draw them more toward a neutral place. Inhale for a little bit of cow in your upper body. Then exhale, draw the back of your head, the back of your spine into those imaginary hands behind you. Really focus on the base of your exhale. Good, keep your right knee where it is. Send your left leg back behind you. Find nice and neutral through your whole body. Bend your left knee. So you really want to work on keeping your left knee no lower than your left hip. So there's always some tension there in the body. Take a big breath in and exhale, just push up just a fraction of an inch with your left heel. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, push up. And one more, inhale to neutral, like you're trying to stand on the ceiling with your left foot. Exhale, push against that imaginary ceiling. Good, and then release and step your left foot once again outside of your left hand. Step your right foot outside of your right hand. You're in your yogi squat. Lift your chest any amount. Big inhale. Exhale, press into your heels, rise to stand. Tree pose side 2. Weight in your right foot. Left toes can stay on the earth or lift to your right leg, low or high. If it's there for you today, if you've got it, bring your hands behind your head. Push your head back into your hands. Let your ribs come back in line with your head. So it's like there's a string along your spine and someone's just pulling up on that string, right? It doesn't have to be straight. Straight's not the goal, but long, dignified. One more breath in. Release your left foot down, release your hands and release them behind your back. Big inhale for length. And exhale, bend your knees, fold down and in. At any opportunity, like this one right now, picture yourself on that staircase and make sure that you're moving down the staircase even as you're working here. Right? What a shame it would be if you came to yoga and you ended up in a higher state of anxiety. Release your hands. So even as the physical body works, use the breath to keep moving down the staircase. Inhale, send your chest forward and lengthen. Good, exhale, fold. Let's step back, find your way to all fours. Pause on all fours. Inhale, send your chest forward. And exhale, lift your knees up and back, downward facing dog. Feet step in a little bit toward one another. Inhale, right leg to sky. You can stretch that hip open, circle out. Exhale, right foot outside of right hand. Good, this time keep your left knee lifted. Draw the back of your head back into imaginary hands. Let your rib cage come with it. Now plant your left hand on the mat or a block if you have one. Bring your right hand to your right thigh and open your chest up to the right. So this time left knee's not just staying lifted, but driving up toward the sky. Stay here or take your right arm up, bend your right elbow and bring it behind your head. Bring your hand behind your head, excuse me, not your elbow. Then lean back into your hand, lean your ribs back at the same time. Pause. Take one more breath here, just leaning back in your upper body. And exhale, release your right hand down. Step your left foot forward about a foot. Spin your left heel to the mat. Push back with your right foot to come toward a little pyramid pose here. And it doesn't matter how much your right leg straightens, just feel that pushing back action. So remember when we were in this position with the back knee down, our goal was just to draw the hips towards center and elongate the spine. One more breath. Good, come to the ball of your left foot, lower your left knee. Take your right leg to the sky behind you. Bend your right knee and either stay here or this time reach back with your left hand and catch your foot. Just like we already did, kick your foot toward the ceiling. That activates your back body. Now draw your rib cage toward the sky, back of your head toward the sky. One more breath. Good, release, left hand down, right foot outside of right hand, left foot outside of left hand into your yogi squat. Inhale here, and exhale to push back through your hips and rise all the way up. Good, tree pose again. Weight in your left foot, right foot to your right leg, low or high, that's up to you. And then back behind your head, lean back into your hands and either stay there or reach and extend arms to sky and either stay there or maybe start to soften your eyes about halfway closed or all the way closed. Good, release, fold in and just dangle. Inhale, chest forward, lengthen. Exhale, step back, all fours. Inhale, cow. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Now, option to stay in down dog or option for a vinyasa flow if you just kind of want to reset the body. So from this long place, shift forward to plank, keep that length as you lower. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, down dog. Feet step lightly toward one another, left leg to sky. Inhale as you open. And exhale, left foot outside of left hand. This time, right knee stays lifted. Good, long spine. So back of the head draws up, back of the ribs draw up. Right hand stays planted, left hand to left thigh. Stay here or left arm to sky. Stay here or bend your left elbow, bring your left hand behind your head, and you're just leaning back with your whole body, right? So it's not a back bend. Instead, you're leaning back with your ribs, with your low back, with your head, all drawing back for length. One more breath. Release your left hand down, step your right foot forward about a foot, spin your right heel down. Send your hips back and you're just straightening your left leg a little or a little bit more and drawing your hips toward that neutral space, wherever that is for you. Long spine, hips to neutral. One more breath here. Coming to the ball of your right foot, lower your right knee and take your left leg to the sky behind you. So option just to stay in that position, drawing your knee to neutral and hanging out. Option to reach back with your right hand and catch your left foot, kick your foot toward the ceiling, draw your ribs toward the ceiling, draw the back of your head to the ceiling. One more breath in and out. Release your hand down, step your left foot outside of your left hand. Right foot outside of right hand, coming into yogi squat. Big breath in. Exhale, push back through your heels as you rise, lining up for tree pose, Vrikshasana, side two. Weight in your right foot, left foot leg picks up. Hands behind your head, hands at heart, or arms extended to sky. Maybe a soft close in the eyes, maybe a full close of your eyes. One more breath. Release. Plant your feet. Dangle in. I'm in the studio. We have a big window here, which is great for light, but the people passing by on the street think I'm a little odd. Inhale, chest forward, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to all fours. And yogis, we're all taking a child's pose. So if you feel like you need to flow to get to child's pose, please do. Otherwise, come straight to child's pose, and that's totally sufficient right now. And all we're doing is checking in on that breath. Where is the end of your exhale? At the end of your exhale, can you feel a full release of the air, a drawing up in the lower abdomen, a drawing up of the pelvic floor? It happens on its own if you're doing it right. If you're just letting go of your breath completely, all of those things will firm. Come back up to all fours. Inhale, draw your chest forward, cow. Exhale, keep this arch through your spine. Pick your knees up, send your hips back, and the arch will kind of naturally lengthen out. Good, this time keep your feet hips width distance apart. And inhale your right leg to the sky behind you. If you really want to open the hip, you can. Otherwise, this time just keeping it neutral. And step your right foot just inside of your right thumb. Send your left knee up toward the sky. Lead with the back of your head. So draw the back of your head into those imaginary hands. Draw your ribs into those imaginary hands and let that bring you all the way up into high crescent. Interlace your hands behind your head. Draw your head back into your hands. Draw your ribs back. Extend up even more. One more breath. And bring your right elbow towards your right hip. So just like how we started seated, this is going to lengthen your left side body. One more breath here. Release back to center. Keep all of this length. Reach forward and then down with your hands. So they'll end up a few inches in front of your right foot. Bring your back foot in about a foot. Draw your spine and the back of your head up toward the ceiling, right? So you've got that nice long spine. And then just leaning forward very slowly, pick your left leg up no higher than your left hip. Standing split. Don't worry about how high that left leg lifts. Think about long spine. Even if you choose to fold in, long spine. One more breath. Good. Bend both of your knees at the same time. You'll lower your left shin down onto the mat behind your right ankle. And then lower your bum down just behind your left ankle, right? Sit up nice and tall. Take a rotation toward the right. One more breath here. Good. Your left leg will stay exactly as it is. Unwind your arms and just bring your right leg back so that your right foot is lined up with your left heel or the sole of your left foot. Rotate toward the top of your mat and just feel if that's enough for the front of your right hip, and it might be. Or wiggle your left knee a little bit more toward the upper left corner of your mat, and that might be enough for the front of your right hip. Or maybe you just reach back right here and catch your right foot, and that might be plenty sufficient. Final option, you'll rotate your hips to point forward, so you're more in a pigeon position. Keep your right hand planted and reach back with your left hand for your right foot. Couple of breaths. Good, yogis. Unwind and push your way back, downward facing dog. If you'd like that vinyasa flow, take it now. Otherwise, hang out in down dog. Inhale your left leg to the sky. If you want to roll it open, you may. Otherwise, from here, step it straight forward next to your left hand. Lift your right knee toward the sky. Lift the back of your head, the back of your spine toward the sky, and let that drive you up high crescent Anjaneyasana. Interlace your hands behind your head. I've got some work to do here. I can feel myself arching in my upper back. So as I draw my head back and draw my ribs back, I feel this nice long spine that gets me into a deeper opening in the front of my right hip. One more breath. And exhale, left elbow toward your left hip. Rise up, release, reach way forward, yogis, and bend down. You'll end up a few inches in front of your left foot. Step your back foot in about a foot. Start to lift your back leg, just about to hip height. Long spine for your standing splits. Good, bend both knees, start to lower your right shin to your mat just behind your left foot. Then lower your bum to the ground just behind your right foot. Inhale for length and exhale to rotate to the left. Whatever you do with your head. And come back to center. Keep your right leg exactly as is and just swing your left leg back behind you. Your left knee will line up with your right heel or foot or whatever you happen to get. And this might be plenty sufficient here on your left leg. Otherwise, maybe you just widen your right knee out to the right a little bit, and that'll get you into a deeper opening through your front of your hip and the inside of your groin a bit. Otherwise, you can really turn your hips to face forward, so you're in a high pigeon position. Keep your left hand planted and reach back with your right hand to catch your left foot. That should be deep enough for everyone, right? And if not, you know who you are. Do whatever crazy thing you need to do. Otherwise, I think most of us are good here. Couple more breaths. Good, release your foot. And just sit off to your right hip and swing your legs around forward. Feel where your body is right now. And we'll line up for a double pigeon position. And if this just isn't right for you, there's so many options for where you can go. So don't worry if that alone scares you. So option one, whichever shin is in front is fine. You just cross at the center of your shins. Your knees might be fairly lifted. Just think about a long spine and then place your hands next to your pelvis and send your hips back. And that'll probably lower your knees some. I'm flexing everything about 90 degrees and I'm doing that very actively. So you can stay like this. Another option is just to kind of give yourself light pressure with your hands against your knees and feet. And that should help to deepen the sensation. Final option would be to bring your left shin on top of your right if your left shin's in front. If your right shin's in front, then opposite. All the same actions, send your hips back again. Everything's bent at 90 degrees to the degree possible. So I've been practicing yoga for well over a decade. I come to my mat and sometimes I have this big old gap here. My hips aren't always just like pliable and open, right? Sometimes I have to work at it a little bit. So this might be totally fine for where you are today, or you might choose to go a little deeper. As you start to lean forward, as long as there's no pain in your knees, and you'll know pain because it's sudden and sharp and it's in one very specific point. If that's the case, back off. If there's just like some general sensation, right, some warmth, some discomfort, you're probably fine to be where you are and just focus on the base of your exhales. Couple more breaths. And walk your hands in and shake it out. So whatever you need to do just to kind of shake that out for your body. And bring your right leg in. I'm sorry, I realize we're not all on the same side. So bring in whichever leg was not in last time. So opposite leg in front. And pick your hips up, send them back. You're crossing it about the center of your shin and you're just kind of feeling into that space. Maybe give yourself that light pressure. If you would like, the front leg can come on top, whichever leg was not already on top. Shift around, find 90-degree bends and everything to the degree possible. And then start to fold in just a little bit and then a little bit more. Your body will open into the pose the more you focus on letting go of your exhale. And walking your hands in, unwind, shake it out. Make your way onto your back. And take some very basic rotational stretches here on the back, which is a fancy way to say twist. Starting with the upper back. So bring your feet to the mat with your knees bent. Just let your knees knock together. So your feet can be about as wide as your mat, knees knocking together. And release your fingers, bring your hands behind your head. So much like you're just like laying in the grass, looking up at the summer sun. Pause here. Now really push back with your rib cage down into your mat. Take one more breath. Then start to take your left elbow over to your right. Again, like you're closing those butterflies. You can lift your left rib cage up off the ground as you really roll to the right. Inhale back down to neutral. And exhale, change sides. So you pick your right elbow up first, and then your right shoulder blade. And you're just trying to make your elbows touch on the left. They probably won't. Inhale back to neutral, arms wide. And exhale, left elbow toward your right. And last time to the left. Inhale, roll down. Exhale, change. Good. Inhale, roll down. And as you exhale, just release your hands. Take your arms out to the side like goalpost arms. Just let your chin come to your right shoulder. If this is plenty, stay here. Otherwise, leave your right hand where it is and just let your left hand come down alongside your body. And then coming back up, change sides. Goalpost arms, chin to left shoulder. Pause, right? Like investigate before you decide to move further. And release your right hand down, maybe by your right hip. I was listening to this Brene Brown podcast a couple of days ago, and she said something about how every time she writes a book, her editor's like, now take out about 317 analogies or metaphors, and you'll be fine, right? Like storytellers, you know, guys, I identify as a writer, and writers love metaphor. Yoga is just like, it's just full of them. It's so fun as a writer. You just find all these metaphors everywhere, all these analogies everywhere. Come back to center and hug your knees into your chest. And finally, taking this twist to the base of the body. So let both of your knees, again, the arms come back to goalpost arms, base, both of your knees go to the right. So I think the reason why yoga is just full of metaphor is because our bodies are full of stories. Like when we do things physically, this releases all of this information about our life, our thought process, our well-being, about our upbringing, and our basic views of humanity and who we are among humanity. Our body holds all of that. Couple more breaths on this side. I think I always knew that, right? As an athlete, I always knew that my body held tons of information for me. But it wasn't until I practiced yoga that I was actually encouraged to like sit and listen to the stories my body was telling me. And I fell in love with that. Knees back to center and then over to the other side. So really the whole point of this, like climbing down the staircase to our present peaceful place, is that we can then like unlock the value of all the power of these stories our body holds. It gives us an opportunity for self-reflection. You come back to center and draw your knees into your chest and just give yourself a little squeeze here. And start to release down into the position you're going to choose to remain in for our meditation. We take an extended meditation on Fridays. I'll sit up so I can guide you. You can choose any position you'd like. The beautiful thing about where we are right now as a culture, to me, the beautiful thing to me, is that we're all being asked to engage in a deeper level of self-reflection. But we can only begin to do that if we are not in a high anxiety state. And you're like, how could I not have high anxiety right now? Let's look at what's going on. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. We have elections coming up that I care deeply about. We have human rights violations filmed on camera in front of our eyes. How could I not be anxious? How could my head not be spinning? So just, if you're normally like on ring 5 of this staircase between anxiety and calm, you might be at like an 8 or a 9 right now. Very normal. And the yoga practice doesn't ask us to just all of a sudden be Zen, right? It's just one step lower, like just a little bit better, a little bit more capable of self-reflection. So where are you again right now? Check in. Where are you on that staircase? And where would you like to be, knowing that it's not possible to engage in life with most of us who aren't living on a monastery, right? So most of us cannot engage in life at a level 1, where we're Zen, calm, and present all the time. We'll probably fluctuate between a couple of steps. What are your ideal steps? And right now in our yoga practice and our meditation practice, we're trying to get to the very bottom of that baseline. One breath at a time. So letting the inhales naturally happen. Your mind might even drift away as you inhale. The very base of your exhale, let all of your air go. And then let it go again. And then inhale as is natural. So that the base of your exhale is your anchor point. At some point, you might start to question, what am I supposed to be doing? Nothing. You're just supposed to be breathing. You might question, what am I supposed to be thinking about or picturing or visualizing? Nothing. Just connect with the base of your exhale. So just checking in, where are you on that staircase? And if you're not at that baseline that you want to be at just yet, it's not that you have to work harder, right? It's not like I have to try harder to relax more. Just stay with it. And you're practicing at home. So as we wrap up our practice, if you need to stay with it a little longer, if you want to stay with it a longer, please, my invitation's there for you. Stay as long as you'd like. But if you're ready to, or if you need to, move on with your day, take this opportunity. Know that, as I mentioned, you're not going to go about your day at your lowest state of anxiety, like you're laying on a vacation beach, right? It wouldn't even be safe for you to do that. So allow yourself to climb up like 1 or 2 more rungs of the ladder to a space where you feel safe engaging with the world, right? You have to have some awareness of what's going on around you. And just mentally do that first. So it's like I'm climbing up from my, from my altar, my cozy beach, or wherever it is, climbing up a few steps, blinking my eyes open, letting my mind and body move together to a more aware space. And then when you are fully ready, just exiting your meditation practice, so coming to whatever posture you'll choose to close your practice. May you all be happy. May you be healthy and strong. May you live with ease. Namaste, yogis. I'll end the recording now. If you need to go about your